Hello and welcome to the very first video of the semester. So the way that the class is going to be run is every night you're going to have a few different videos that I want you to watch before you come to lecture. And in these videos we're going to be covering different concepts that we'll be discussing the next day in class. So it's kind of like reading your textbook, but instead of reading the textbook, I give you notes and I have you watch a video that cover those concepts that are also given in the textbook. So I want you to watch them, I want you to take them seriously. You will be given points for viewing all of the videos. All of the videos at the end of the semester are worth 5% of your overall grade, so do take it seriously. And I want you to assume and practice watching the videos as if they were a normal lecture. So I allow you to print out the notes for each video lecture before you watch the videos, and I would like you to do that. Print those out and watch the videos as you have the notes in front of you. Then as questions come up or you want to annotate different parts of the notes, you can, and then by the end of the semester you'll have a huge notebook full of notes that you've taken, just like you were if you were watching a lecture in class. So this is the very first video, and I want to talk a little bit about the mathematics that go into the world of chemistry. So a lot of people don't understand that chemistry has its foundations in mathematics, and a lot of physical sciences are that way. So in order to understand how chemistry uses these mathematics, we need to understand different ways of performing calculations. Now some of you have heard of something called the order of operations before, some of you have not, so we're going to do a quick review of this idea of the order of operations. So let's take a look on these notes and see what types of questions can come up from orders of operations. So the best way to do this is to go through a simple example. Let's take an example, 2 times 4 plus 7. So this is our very first example. Now, some of you are going to say, well, this is really easy. We can figure out the answer. We can just plug it into a calculator. Now, your calculator is only as smart as the person who's putting the numbers in. So if you're not telling the calculator correctly how to solve the problem, it will give you an incorrect answer. So let's see how we can do this. We can actually solve this problem in two different ways. One way is going to be correct and the other way is not. So let's take the first way of doing the addition first, so 4 plus 7, and then multiplying that resulting number by 4. So here we have 4 plus 7, that gives you 11, and then you take the 11 times 2 and that gives you 22. So this is one way that we can solve this problem, simple arithmetic problem. The second way we can solve this problem is to do the multiplication first, followed by the addition. So we can do the 2 times 4, that gives you 8, and then we can add to the 8 the 7. 8 plus 7 is 15. So as you can see, two different routes give you very different answers. One gives you an answer of 22, one gives you an answer of 15. Wildly different answers, only one is correct. Now, if you don't know what the order of operations is, you're not going to understand why route number 2 is the correct answer, but I will cover that on the next slide. So what we're finding here is it is correct to do the multiplication first in a calculation before performing the addition in a calculation. So let's take another example, something slightly more complicated. Here we can see that we have some multiplication, we have some parentheses, we have some division. There's all sorts of stuff going on in this calculation. Now let's take two different ways of solving this problem. First, let's perform the multiplication, the 2 times 2. If we neglected these parentheses, that would give us 4. So then in the numerator, the top of the equation, we have 4 plus 7 divided by 3. 4 plus 7 is 11, divide that by 3, you get 3.66. Okay? That's one way of solving this problem. Another way of solving this problem would be to solve the calculation that's inside the parentheses first, then followed by the multiplication, then followed by the division. If you do that, 2 plus 7 is 9. You're still going to have that 2 and that 3 down here. 9 times 2 is 18. 18 divided by 3 is 6. So these are wildly different answers, just like in the first problem. We have 3.66 as one route, 6 as the other route, and again, if you don't know what the order of operations are, you won't know that route number 2 is the correct answer. So how did I know that route number 2 was the correct answer when route number 1 was not? Well, we do have these orders of operations, and we have a mnemonic and an acronym for these orders of operations. And some of you have heard this, some of you have not, so we're just going to do a quick review. The acronym is called Pemdas, and what an acronym is it is every single letter in this word is associated with another word. So that's what an acronym means. So here the P will stand for a word, an E will stand for a word, M, and so on. So if you can think of PEMDAS, that's going to tell you the exact order of how you're going to solve these calculations. So let's go through this. The first one is parentheses. There are many different ways of writing parentheses. We have regular parentheses, square brackets, curly brackets, so on. There's lots and lots of different ways of writing parentheses. But we will always perform the calculation inside of a parenthesis first before we go on and perform any other calculations. So if you go back to the previous example, this example number 2, you will see that we performed the calculation in parentheses first, and that solved the problem correctly. So that's why route number 2 was correct on the second example. After you perform anything in a parenthesis, you're going to follow that by exponents. Exponents are anything raised to a power. There are many different ways of writing this as well. Here are 2 different ways of writing exponentials. So you'll always do parentheses first. You will follow that by exponentials. You'll then follow by multiplication and division. Okay? Now, I quickly went through multiplication and division because these are interchangeable. You can actually perform division before you perform multiplication, but the acronym just doesn't sound as catchy. So we generally will go with Pemdas, multiplication before division, but if you went division before multiplication, you would get the exact same answer as long as you followed all of the other rules correctly. So generally, let's keep up with this Pemdas. So let's do multiplication followed by division. And then, of course, the A and the S in Pemdas stands for addition and subtraction. And just like the multiplication and division, addition and subtraction are interchangeable. So you can always do subtraction before you do addition, or you can do addition before subtraction. But again, Pemdas just has a nice ring to it. It's easy to sound out. It's easy to say. So we're going to keep with this trend throughout the semester. So in all calculations, you're going to have to go step by step to perform the calculations. Don't just blindly plug it into your calculator. If you do that, I can guarantee you will make mistakes. And you will not be able to find the correct answer on exams and quizzes if you just blindly plug into a calculator. It just won't work. So we have to do parentheses first. We have to do exponentials. Then we have to do multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. With this understanding, this is the only video I want you to watch tonight, we can go on and we can solve a lot of math problems. Now I know it's going to seem for the first week or so that we're doing a whole lot of math, and that's just because we need to build a foundation. So we're going to be using this Pemdas for the rest of the semester, committed to memory. You're going to get used to it and using it, and this will really help you in engineering, biology, physics, any physical science. This order of operations will definitely help you out. So with that, I want to say have a great night. I will see you all in class tomorrow, and that's it.